A few months ago, we are planning a campaign for the next year, how we're going to engage and connect with our tribe. And so we're looking at, as we do, we're working with our guys in DDNA and the folks in marketing, and we're sitting down in the boardroom and thinking, okay, so what's the calendar for this year? And we see come up upon, I think, 6th of January or so, Braille Day. And so we look at, oh, Braille Day, that's interesting. Blind people, what do blind people do? How do they connect with this? I mean, it was very interesting. How do they work, in this world? And so we said, okay, let's, instead of just saying happy Braille Day like everybody was going to do, let's actually look at what blind people do. And who's blind? Who do we know that's blind? Oh, we know Cobhams. Cobhams is blind and he's famous. So we get to engage him to find out how blind people, how does he use a banking mobile app? How does he use a mobile phone? If we're talking about inclusion, how do we include these people into society? And how can technology help them to be free, to have freedom, to be independent of people? And we had a conversation with Cobhams like a few weeks later, and it was very interesting. And it actually touched on the values of Sparkle, which was interesting. It talked about freedom. It talked about, because you're blind, you have to trust. And if you don't trust, you can't get on. So trusting people, and it was, for me, trusting systems. And that whole inclusion bit, if we say that Sparkle is for everybody, then why can't the blind use it? And if the blind can use it, then really it has to be a simple solution. And if it's that simple that a blind man can use, that means anybody can use it. So we touched on, a lot of our values, and that's why it was so great. It talked about freedom, we touched on trust, definitely transparency, because some of the tools that you require means voice. When I now thought about Siri and OK Google, and it's talking out to you, and that's transparency, because it's not like hiding or whispering. They actually, you have to, when you're blind, you need something that speaks to you, and if it speaks to you, it's going to be loud, and it's not going to be whispering. So that's transparency. And we could make it personal, from just a calendar item, Braille's Day, turned into something like we thought, my God, this is really exciting. And the thing about great challenges, spur innovation, spur creativity, and that's what really Sparkle is about. So we planned this trip to Pacelli. So if we're going to help, first of all, you must know, you must learn, you must know what the customer journey is, and what better place to go than to go to the School of the Blind. And so off we went to Pacelli, All right, we're on our way to Pacelli School of the Blind to pay a visit, to find out how blind people cope in this modern world, and how we can use technology to make them more independent, to allow them to do things for themselves. So I'm pretty excited, and let's see what Black Knight and Sparkle can do. Also, we are here at Pacelli School of the Blind in Surulere, and we are coming to it's excursion. When we were young, we used to go excursion to find out, to explore. And so, this presents, School of the Blind, and we want to find out how they're coping with, blindness in this modern world, and what role technology is playing. And so we're waiting to see the headmistress, who's going to hopefully give us a tour and tell us about the school and how they sustain it, and how technology can help. And I think it's all a part of being, helping freedom and inclusion.
Welcome to Pacelli School.
Thank you very much.
I'm Sister Jane.
And who's someone is here?
Okay, and Pacelli School, I want to tell you a little bit about
Please
us
do, yes.
before you now
Tell us why we're here.
Yeah. So Pacelli School is owned by the Catholic Diocese of Lagos. Pacelli is almost 59 years old. By next year, we are going to be 60. So the handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus, the order that I belong to, we are the one managing this school for the diocese. The sisters do charity work.
Yes.
So, and that's the way the church always keep the women. And the children here, the population is 144. I told him. And we are staff strength of 48. Boys are 96, girls are 56.
We took a guided tour around the school, and I think the first place we went to was the young ones. When you walked in there, believe me, they didn't act like blind people. They acted like normal people. In fact, if you did not know that you were in a blind place, you wouldn't think that they were blind. They were courteous, they were smiling. I mean, like, if I thought I had problems, these guys have this an impairment problem, but they were acting as if it's a normal day. They were happy, they were grateful to be alive. And that's one thing I took. They were actually grateful to be alive. And then to show some of the equipment that they use and how they read and write and elementary skills. And then we went to like primary five teachers and we saw a guy read a book. We saw that somebody actually now use braille to actually write a sentence, and then somebody read it. And these things were just normal. I mean, the reading was fantastic. The elocution of the person was absolutely great. And like the way they wrote and braille, I bet you that those skills can be transferred to other things that will actually, those skills, those are the kind of skills that actually, light up some areas in your brain that would not be lit up unless you were actually blind. And one of them asked the question, like, one of them like actually asked the question, and the question was, if I'm blind, can I be a banker? And I was just thinking, if you are blind, you can be more than a banker, because when I think of the skills that you acquired, it is nothing compared to what you're going through at all. Of course, you can be a banker. Of course, you can be better than a banker. In fact, people like you, Sparkle actually loves. And then we went to the tech lab where the great company had donated computers. And so the tech guy tells us about, the applications that are actually required to be integrated into the computer so that you can give voice prompt and voice command. These things have been in our mobile phones and in our laptops for a very long time. We just haven't really appreciated why these companies have these things. Like when I start a new computer and a Cortana comes up and asks me if they want a voiceover or not, I'm thinking, why do I need a voiceover? Now I know why those voiceovers are there. Those voiceovers there are inclusive services, because they know that it is not just for people that can see, but what of people that can't see? They can use a typewriter, they can hear, all the other senses. And that actually, I think that just made me appreciate more what these tech companies do. So how inclusive is your solution? How inclusive is your platform? What are you doing to try and make sure that people in your tribe can benefit from your platform? And that's a good question for Nigerians. What are we trying to do to make sure that people are inclusive? Because before that meeting that we had, where we just saw Braille Day on 6th of January, we didn't actually really think about who our tribe members are, right? We always think about all the perfect people. We don't think about the imperfect people that make the world perfect. And so that was a good education there. And then just before we left, we wanted to help. After going through that whole tour, you would want to help. But how do you help? And help is short term, help is long term. But we wanted to, like, first of all, provide some much needed resources, but we also want some continuity. And so, like, when I even look at me personally, it's about, so what are those platforms that I've created, right? Because if I want to help people, I know Sparkle can do so much. I know Black Knights can do so much, and I know Black Knights Foundation can do as much, but can so limited. But if they all work together, we can actually come up with a very holistic proposition. So this is something that was great that Black Knights Foundation could do, because help education, help people get on, people who are disadvantaged to get on, people that with a little bit of help will play a fantastic role in society. And of course, for Sparkle as well, gets an opportunity to, in helping people, create a fantastic solution. Because I believe that if we can make Sparkle a great app and shed a great app for the blind people, and they can see light, it means that the innovation, the creativity that will come from that would actually make it a true customer-centric platform. So that was a trip to Pacelli. We're very excited. This is the first stage of a project that we're very excited about, and we think that it's going to put a little sparkle in many people's lives. So really excited about it, and watch this space.